Hello, hello, THL. Welcome to Salty Saturday. The Legacy Finals roll on here as we have another fantastic match this evening for you. I am Donde, and I am joined by Markshire tonight. Markshire, what's going on, man? I think you muted yourself, dude. I think you're still muted.
You are correct. I was okay. You can hear me now, right?
Sure can.
Well, yes. All right, Donde. As I was saying when I was muted and the audience unfortunately could not hear me, I am very excited for this match and to be back in the casting booth once again with you, Donde. And I think we've got a great match tonight. In, of course, the Legacy Finals, HSA already down 1-3 with one match in. But Duwin here is going to be looking to try to even that or maybe take a lead with this match against Clarity. So great match tonight for sure.
Yeah, and not to mention, we also have a match in progress right now. Based versus Zabe is happening here, so we'll try to get updates on that as we go along. I know it's in Game 2, at least the last I had checked. I do apologize, that was supposed to be streamed tonight, but there was a mix-up in communication, so that is my mistake. I do apologize for that. So we'll make sure we keep on top of it, and we'll get you the details as we go. So for right now, as you mentioned, DadLegend is slightly the lead, 4-1, with the bonus point for the win that we saw on Wednesday. You can check that VOD. That was on Hearth Center. After Hearth Center, I should say. So that's a good start for DadLegend, and we'll see what happens tonight. It is possible that we crown a champion here if DadLegend wins with Zabe beating Based, and then if Clarity wins with enough points over Duwin. So it's possible. But we'll have to see here. So we let the players know that they're all set to ban. They're doing that right now. But we're going to be seeing Demon Hunter, Paladin, Warrior from Clarity tonight versus Mage, Paladin, Priest, and Warrior for Duwin. So we do see both players bring Warrior, but we do not see Duwin bringing a Demon Hunter, which has been very, very strong over the course of the back half of this season here in THL. Do you find that interesting, Markshire?
I do find it interesting. The thing about Demon Hunter is, of course, Soul Demon Hunter is one of the best decks in the game, has been that way pretty much throughout this meta, and is a very popular choice both in open lists and just as a class in Legacy and Hero. In, of course, the closed list format, like in Legacy, you have the option to pivot to possibly an aggro Demon Hunter if it lines up the best against your opponent's classes. So having that, guaranteed you're going to get a tier 1 deck no matter what with Soul Demon Hunter that doesn't have a ton of bad matchups, combined with that flexibility of maybe going aggro DH if, maybe you look at your opponent's classes, you see that maybe your Soul Demon Hunter is getting targeted a little bit. I think it's a very strong pick overall. It's one that I certainly brought a lot in Legacy and Hero, was very popular overall, so I am a little bit surprised to see Duwin not bring it, but you look at this guy's record, 9-1 on the season. Only got his first loss. Was that last week?
Yes, it
maybe
was.
2
we
weeks
saw that
ago?
on stream. Yeah.
I think it was only last week. And you look at that. It's hard to fault him for that. I feel like he definitely knows what he's doing with
sure.
these class selections. So, yeah.
And to make matters more interesting, bans in from the players here, and Warrior has been that secondary stalwart class here in most of these Conquest lineups, and neither player banned it. So there's definitely strategies going on here, definitely targets. I think that Warrior might be the tough class for both players to get through, because we have Clarity's Hunter is banned and Duwin's Paladin is banned, which you can see on the screen there. I know, Markshire, you're behind on the stream, so you won't see that right away, so that's why I'm telling you, and the viewers can see it. So we're seeing Demon Hunter, Paladin, Warrior versus Mage, Priest, Warrior. Should be a good mix tonight. I gotta say, I do like the classes for Clarity better, but it is hard to argue, like you said, with that record of Duwin. So HSA really needs this W. Let's go ahead and get the players rolling, unless there's anything else that you'd like to bring up here before we get started.
No, I am definitely ready to get into it. So let's go ahead. Give them the heads up. Tell them they can go ahead and queue and get right into the action.
All right. Let me send them a quick message.
Definitely, and while we're waiting for that to happen, the Mage pick, the last major round of nerfs saw Evocation and Solarian Prime get hit. I think Mage fell off a little bit in popularity, but a lot of players still think that Cyclone Mage, or Small Spell Mage, as it's often called, is still a strong pick. So that's what I would guess that Duwin has gone with. There's some things. Highlander Mage is a pick that, maybe you see that it lines up well. I think it can be a little bit better against Warrior, better against Priest too. Looking at Clarity's classes, though, I would imagine it's probably just that standard Cyclone Mage. But it'll be interesting to see what Duwin goes with that, as that deck was hit pretty significantly.
And here we go. We are going to start up here as they're jumping into game one. Clarity will be on the bottom of your screen. Duwin will be on the top of your screen. Let's see what they brought in game one here. Paladin for Clarity, Priest for Duwin.
You give me strength.
I will fight with honor.
Yeah, the Priest Paladin matchup to start. Just looking at this, I would say that the Priest is generally favored in this matchup. Just having a lot of ways to steal, the Paladin when they put their Librams on something, just being able to steal a single big minion that the Paladin likes to play. We can see, though, from Clarity's hand, with that Goody 2 shields in hand, it looks like he's gone for the pure Paladin and not the Libram Paladin, which does match up better against Priest.
And that being said, you mentioned the stealing aspect of the Priest here, and Duwin, that is, has the key components of that theft package there, the Cabal Acolyte and the Wave of Apathy lets you steal anything you want. Well, as long as there's only one minion on the board, that is. But it will hopefully allow Duwin, in his case, to steal something that has a Libram on it, which Clarity is now about to drop onto this Merc.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the key cards in this matchup, and Duwin already having both of them in hand and having one of the Wave of Apathies. And we can see Clarity going wide. That makes Cabal a little bit not quite as good because Duwin has less control over what he can steal. But I mean, if we get to a point where Clarity just has one big minion on the board, an easy Cabal Wave will just totally swing the board. And the Pure Paladin, of course, struggles so much to come back once it's behind on the board.
We see Duwin looking here to try and possibly pare down this board a little bit, giving himself the better odds for the potential steal next turn. He drew the Cleric of Scales, but doesn't have a dragon yet, so no way to pull another spell out of the deck of his choice. Clarity here is picking up the second first day of school, and now the question becomes, how wide does he want to go? Picks up
it's interesting. We mentioned earlier, Donde, this is closed list, so Clarity doesn't know, if Duwin is running, what kind of AoE he's running, what exactly he has, so it can be kind of difficult to figure out how much you want to play around your opponent's hand when you often don't know what's in their deck. Now, already, though, has Duwin already played two penances?
Yes, both penances have been played.
Yeah.
And Duwin here, here's the thing. Now, there are 4 minions on board. Obviously, there's better options here for the steal, and he's going to go for it. But I don't think any of these minions are terrible.
I don't hate it. Yeah. That's one of the better... Oh, that's just the best one.
That's straight up the absolute nuts.
Wow, the 1 in 4 from Duwin, not only stealing the Libram, but denying Clarity getting the McGurgle Prime shuffled into his deck, which can be such a strong late game finisher against the Priest. Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable. I would have been happy if I was him. I'd have been happy with the Goody 2 shields just fine, since it's a pretty strong minion in its own right. But we do see Clarity ordering just a little bit off here, takes an extra damage from the using the weapon on the 2-1 instead of the 1-1, but he's going to heal back anyway to full with the potion vendor when he plays it, if he plays it.
Yep, I think you may as well. Probably not getting a ton more value out of that, but that steal, Duwin already drawing the McGurgle Prime too, but looks to be in a pretty strong position now, and Clarity might be, just trying to high roll something off of this Allura to get back into the game.
Aldor, a pull with the Call to Adventure. Not a card that you see in every pure list, but does make that Aldor a little bit stronger, and it's just fine enough to go ahead and decrease the cost of those Librams anyway.
Yeah, that's Call to Adventure, not really a card I've seen in pure at all. Definitely not bad here. I mean, thinning your deck out some, getting a 3/5 on the board that also reduces your Librams, but not really amazing, and this Soul Mirror here is going to clear off almost the entire board. Duwin.
Yeah, that was definitely good timing for Duwin, and he's getting a little low on health, but that's okay right now. He's got the murder next turn if he wants it. He's got a couple options in hand too, but let's have to see what this Abyss hits, because I assume we're going to get a coin.
Yeah, this is very huge for clarity, just what happens here. Getting the Hand of a Doll, drawing a card very strong, does bring the Allura into Shadow Word Death range, unfortunately for clarity, but he's able to build up, 2 5-attack minions here, and I assume is going to play out the Braggart as well.
And he does go face with the 5/4, doesn't respect the possibility of a Apotheosis, so haven't seen it yet. I mean, we don't know if Duwin's running it, but it's one of the best cards in Priest, I would imagine it's in here. And picks up second Sethic Veilweaver. So now Duwin is still in a little bit of danger here. He's at 11 health, and needs to find a way to keep this game going at least a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think interesting to not see the Braggart played there, especially already seeing a Soul Mirror, but just getting a 5/8 out of the Braggart seems like some of the most value you would get. But Duwin here has almost a full clear with the Death and the Libram of Wisdom.
I mean, it's possible being closeless clarity is a little concerned of a possible Shadow Word Ruin. It is a tech that I've seen on occasion.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that, of course. Yeah, hard to know exactly what's in your opponent's deck.
Well, and now he's got one.
But the Ruin and the Mind Control. Pretty strong swing turn from Duwin there, wow.
Second Call to Adventure picked up. Clarity will be looking to get rid of these Sethic Veilweavers that the longer they live will cause more and more havoc. Consecration will do that very nicely. That plus the minion on board and the weapon will work just fine.
Yep. Definitely don't want those Sethics sticking around, and he'll be able to develop the Zealot here, but not being able to swing with the True Silver feels pretty bad, only having this 4/2 on board.
You know, there is the possibility of a top deck draw to win the game, provided that Duwin does not taunt or heal.
Yes.
If it is the second Libram of Wisdom, that would be enough. Duwin probably counting the possibility here. How do I die from this point? Renew helps out tremendously. Gonna go with the Plague of Death. I thought he might take the Radiance.
So Plague of Death insta-picked. Yeah, I mean, you're at pretty low health. Your opponent has a weapon up, but I guess Duwin here, he can taunt with Cabal Acolyte. So maybe he thinks he doesn't need the heal now and is more worried about... I'm not really sure with Shadow Word Ruin in hand how relevant Plague of Death is, but regardless, he's in a pretty strong spot here.
Oh, gonna Libram his opponent's minion
okay.
to kill it with Shadow Word.
I like this.
Well, it does give the Libram back to Clarity, which isn't ideal. And it's a good choice there because he picks up the second Libram.
That is not a play that I've seen before. I'll give him that. And giving your opponent a Libram generally seems pretty bad, but Clarity can't do a ton to take advantage of it here. Picking up the Braggart from Call to Adventure, pretty useless because when you're playing Braggart, you probably want it to be bigger than a 3/3 anyways. So, yeah. Oh, that wave draw.
He's just going to go ahead and take those Librams back right now.
Oh, man. Yep. Yeah, give it to your opponent one turn, steal it back the very next one, and, yeah, taking both of them, too. The only way Clarity has now is, the 7-mana Force, Lady Leadrin. If he picks that up, otherwise he's completely out.
Well, it should be noted, too, that will give him 3 Librams. I believe he's played 3 total on his end of the board. However, being a pure Paladin, he's not running a Penflinger or anything like that, so there's no burst potential from a Penflinger. So Leadrin's tamped down a little bit anyway in regards to the Librams of Wisdom. However, Clarity would really love to see those Librams of Hope and be able to pump out a bunch more 8/8s. And
He would really love to see that, just really anything for board presence right now, as he is starved for it at the moment, unfortunately.
I again find it interesting he did not play the second braggart there rather than hero powering, because everything would have been a 4/6, keeping it out of death range. I guess, maybe he's thinking I'm going to play around Plague of Death, which is not a card that's typically hard run. However, it happens to be in Duwin's hand.
Puppet, dance!
And he's going to steal almost everything.
Could be why maybe Clarity's thinking if he does, in fact, top deck Libram of Hope,
Which he did.
and he does here, he can get another 8/8, holding out for some of that value. So I guess the game isn't over quite yet. This is going to be a decent swing turn, but it's still looking rough for Clarity at this point.
I have to imagine we're going to see Duwin just plunk the 3/3 in to get the Limas back to hand and Plague of Death this turn. And Clarity continues to hold back that Argent Braggart. That's actually, it works out in this case. Or is Duwin going
playing around the hard removal, and now Duwin just going to go for the renew, and I think he probably wants to try to find a way to deal with this board without expending Plague of Death.
Yeah, Forbidden Words is great for that. That's going to clear this board right up.
Yep, that's an easy full clear. Yeah, and it looks like Duwin's going to go for that. And really all the Priest is looking to do in this matchup is, well, A, they can win just by outlasting, but B, just clear the opponent's board every turn if you can. And if the Paladin doesn't have a board, it really struggles to get back into the game. Pretty strong pickup for Clarity, though, with the Lightforged Crusader. He's going to get to discover a dragon here. He has a little bit of synergy in his hand, too, with the other card that he just picked up. Sethic's Pride, probably not doing too much, but not bad pickups at all from this Lightforged Crusader.
Gonna go with the Evasive Worm.
This Cleric of Scale still not active. I don't think Duwin's drawn a dragon the entire game.
No, it's been sitting in the hand since almost the beginning of the game. 4th turn, I believe.
I think so. Pretty funny to see that, but Duwin, making do without it. Pretty nice Apotheosis plus Libram play to once again clear the board and be able to heal for 8.
Yeah, Duwin back to almost full now, with a lot of stuff in the way. Aldor Peacekeeper in hand, though, and Libram Justice, both options to deal with that 8/4.
Yeah, he's got the ways to deal with it. The Evasive Worm could clear it entirely, but I think Clarity may want to try to get the value out of I'm trying to actually read what this card is exactly. Dragon Rider.
Yeah, Dragon Rider Talritha.
Don't think I've seen that card played before.
Nope.
Yeah.
Reporting for duty.
And he does have a dragon hand in that Evasive Worm, so it will find some value, and that plus a Braggart could be a nice swing turn for Clarity.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder, starting off with the Draconic Studies, I wonder if this is the turn he just goes ahead and slams the McGurgle Prime. I think he's been holding out on it because he's wanted to prioritize clearing the board, but this feels like as good a turn as any when you're already at full health.
Right. And play the Cleric first, sure. Might as well now that you finally have a dragon in hand.
Of course.
So interesting pick.
Yeah.
I could make a case for any of those cards, to be honest with you. And he goes with the Draconic Studies.
I agree. I think Shadow or Death could have been solid, just as another removal, but definitely can't blame him for keeping the Draconic Studies either. He's at full health already, so.
And we've got a second Murger as well that popped out of the McGurgle Prime. So the gift that keeps on giving from that steal early in the game.
Yeah. Wow, I know. Could see that there's the potential to see a double McGurgle Prime in this game. Although it doesn't look great for Clarity at this point, he is going to do his best to clear off the board. Is going to be able to buff that Evasive Worm this turn, and of course, because it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers, Duwin could potentially struggle to deal with it.
And we do see an Argent Braggart come down here, created by the Late Force
Braggart,
Crusader. So that one Argent Braggart has been in hand. That's the one that's hard run in the deck. The Clarity has been holding back over several turns.
Yep, and I mean, at this point, you're facing down to 8/6s. Is this just the Plague of Death turn? Or does Duwin find another way to maybe deal with one of these minions? Actually, wait, I think he can deal... Can he deal with both, or is he 1 damage off with Worm plus double Libram?
Well, he can use he can use the Libram to pump it up. I think he gets close, and it might depend on what he gets out of Draconic Studies here, to be honest. The other thing too is that he would really love that second Murger to go into prime form in the deck without using the Plague of Death, because then you don't get that value anymore.
Yeah. No, yeah, you definitely don't want to, and I mean, it's not something that Duwin absolutely needs to win. He doesn't need that value, but I mean, you would like to, if you can afford to not pass up on that.
And instead, he is going to go ahead and use the Dragon, the Evasive Worm, to go ahead and get rid of the other Evasive Worm. And with no Dragon in hand, the Paladin buff is gone. He's just gonna say, I don't care about this 8/6. He could have used the Libram if he had double Libram the 1/1, plunked the 8/6, then double Libram there to clear the board. But at this point, Duwin has decided that damage to the face is where he wants to go.
Well, I think he wouldn't have had enough mana to do it, because it was 5 mana for the Worm and then 4 mana for both of the Librams. So I'm not sure if he had a way to full clear, but regardless, I think leaving the 8/6 up is not too bad in this
You're
case.
right. I was thinking, for some reason, the Librams were free, because I'm forgetting that he is a priest, and he shouldn't have the Librams to begin with.
They almost always are. They almost always are. It's usually a paladin playing them, but yeah. But yeah, the Clarity, though, not out of this yet, as he's going to be able to get another 8/6 down on the board. Just kind of daring Duwin, I think, to use the Plague of Death in his hand. And Duwin, without Plague of Death, just has minions on the board. So we'll see how he wants to navigate this turn. Apo's a pretty important draw. Lets him get through the 4/6 and kill the 8/1. Played Fork Zealot, of course, not active, because Duwin's deck does still contain some neutral cards, but you know, maybe in a couple turns. Actually, it'll probably take more than a couple turns. Maybe at some point that will be active.
What is Elun's will?
For now, I think Duwin could just play Apotheosis on the 4/3 to kill the 4/6, and then run the 1/2 into the 8/1. Yeah, you're not getting a ton of like Libram value here, but I don't think it matters. You just want to take the 2 threats off the board that you can clear.
Yeah, that certainly seems like the most relevant route here. And there's Liadrin.
Oh, Liadrin, that's huge. That's exactly what Clarity needed. It'll get him a couple Libram Wisdoms, and also, I believe, the 1 Libram of Hope that he's played. Which is another important threat. Yeah.
I think ideally he probably would have preferred to just draw that second Libram of Hope this turn. That way he could draw the Liadrin after. But, you know, it's better than dying this turn, which is what he was very much worried about, I'm sure.
And remember, we talked about several turns ago, we were kind of surprised about that Plague of Death pick from Duwin, but at this point, it looks like Plague of Death is what is going to be needed for him to stay in the game.
Clarity is going to turn the damage back on to Duwin here. Now that the Apotheosis minions have been removed, those are both Apotheosis that Duwin runs in the deck. So at this point, no healing outside of if there's Galakron in the deck, and of course the hero power. I believe we've only seen 1 renew actually so far, so there's probably a renew still hiding out in Duwin's deck, but definitely Plague of Death time at this point.
Yeah, and just, I mean, huge clarity. I can't really blame him for committing all of those Librams,
No.
but it's just unfortunate that he only gets 3 Libram of Wisdoms because Duwin got that steal early, and yeah, Plague of Death just doing a ton of work here, and Clarity's going to have to build up his board from nothing now.
An interesting inclusion of the Salad's Pride in deck, too. I know that's usually a card that's included in the Penflinger non-pure version. What was Salad's Pride grabbing outside of the Argent Braggarts in this deck? Maybe a Murder?
I thought that he got that from Lightforged Crusader.
Oh, you're
unless
right.
I'm mistaken.
That might have happened.
I believe, yeah. I believe that he did, because yeah, I agree. I don't think it makes a ton of sense to run, but this Kobold Sticky Finger in the deck here, I mean, I think we talked a little bit earlier about choosing to not bring Demon Hunter. Although it is very strong in the Conquest format, I think one of the weaknesses is it is a little bit weak against weapon tech. I would imagine Duwin put the Sticky Finger in mainly thinking about possibility of Demon Hunter or maybe Bomb Warrior, but it has this added effect of being very strong in this instance against the Paladin.
Yeah, this is going to continue to create a little bit of a problem for Duwin. There's actually a decent-sized board here for Clarity. And Clarity continues to deal some serious damage. Now Duwin's down to 6 health.
Yeah.
No real way to heal.
I do love a good study session.
Yeah, and now Duwin here, he does have this Mind Flayer Karjan board does have a 4/5 taunt with Divine Shield inside of it. So I think he'll definitely look to hit that in and get a taunt. Inner Fire doesn't really do anything right now.
Here, so he can hit this 4/5 and then Inner Fire and steal it with the Cabal Shadow Priest.
He can...
If he hits the 4/5 with the 4/4, drops it to a 4/1, he can Inner Fire it down to a 1/1, grab an extra taunt.
You're right. Yes, no, you're totally right. I did not even see that. Yeah, he could go for that. I think he can go there. He might want to... I mean, he can just take it out this way. I'm wondering if he tries to, like, Big Ol' Whelp to draw into Renew, but it might be better to just heal his face.
We can't steal now.
Yeah. This is interesting, and he doesn't want to use his weapon, which heals him for 2, because he'll take 4 from the taunt.
Gonna use the Inner Fire to damage effectively the 4/4's attack a little bit there.
Is this... Okay, I believe that kept him alive.
Well, the Consecration in hand, I think, is enough here. Oh no, it's gonna be just short.
1 off, right?
1 off. Yeah, the healing face was 1 off.
I think... Yeah, with the face heal, the Inner Fire, and the Libram of Wisdom, Duwin is barely alive. However, here, Clarity can still, he can trade in the 1/1, go for the Consecration, trade in, clear the board, and develop an 8/8 with Taunt and Divine Shield.
Reporting for duty.
And it appears he wants to go for the Solid's Pride instead. I think no matter what, you have to play the Consecration here just to get the board clear.
Yeah, I would agree. Having already played the Hero Power here, it means he's not going to be able to play the rest of his hand. That's okay. Ooh, going to use it first.
Consecration before trading the 1/1 in. I think that's just a slight mistake here, because you miss out on 1 face damage. Yeah, so... See if that comes back to bite Clarity, but he still looks to be in a strong spot.
And the pickup is a second Kobold, so
Sticky
Duwin
Finger.
really running that weapon tech, but no use here. Big Ol' Whelp will have to see what is drawn. Alright, nope, that's not going to do it because you can't play any spells. You can't play the minion, that's it.
You win.
Wow. Whew. That was a crazy game. I did not think that Clarity was gonna come back, to be honest with you, but he was able to do it, and I think just kind of like stalled out a little bit, and that is kind of the weakness of Priest, is they don't really have good ways to close out the game. And despite all the value Duwin was able to generate that game, just like the Lightforged Crusader, the Lady Liadrin, the Paladin was able to get more.
Versus the Surrender!
And we're going to see that priest get run back again here.
Power is no substitute for true strength.
I will prove
Yeah, and
myself
Clarity
to you.
did already see the one sticky finger. I'm not sure if he's going to be expecting two, but I think that's going to be key in this matchup. I think generally the Soul Demon Hunter has a slight edge against the Control Priest, but that sticky finger just does so much if you're able to, hit a Marrow Slicer
Absolutely.
with it.
And Spirit Jailer on 1 there, strong start for Clarity. And I do want to just remind our viewers as we start Game 2 here, we are doing another giveaway for THL Anniversary Week. So if you're in chat and you have not, you're not aware, you can be entered into the giveaway, which will be starting now. You just have to type exclamation, enter giveaway, no spaces, and that gets you entered. So type that in there, and at the end of Game 3, we will do a drawing, and everybody, it'll be a random giveaway. Everybody entered will have a chance to win $10 worth of packs for the next expansion.
That sounds great, Donde. I know that I will want to enter, of course, once I wait 10 minutes for the chat to catch up.
Of course.
To make it fair to everyone. But, yeah, definitely looking forward to winning some packs from the new expansion, potentially. But back into the game here, Clarity had the option to play Warblades on 3 and is choosing to just Hero Power, and I believe he's just doing that because he definitely wants to Marrow Slicer on 4.
And that is a Draconic Studies and a half right there with Ysera, Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, and Malygos, all top-end dragons. Since he's not a Highlander deck, the Alexstrasza not as powerful, decides to pick the Ysera.
Yeah, just a case where, against Soul DH, you probably don't want any of these late game cards that much. But DQA just really never going to be active. There's a chance that Ysera gets played. I feel like it's unlikely it makes an impact on this game, but it could potentially be a solid choice. We'll see.
Clarity, no care for that 2-1 there that was on board, goes everything with the face, but that could backfire with an Apotheosis if it was in hand. Duwin did not have it, and it ended up actually working out in Clarity's favor there.
the waves of apathy in hand. I think Duwin, there were several things Duwin could have picked up there that were 1-mana spells that were playable and actually did something. Inner Fire, he could give his minion Reborn, he could renew, he could heal his face for 5, but instead all these waves of apathy, which doesn't do a lot against a class or against a deck that primarily gets its damage from weapons.
Yeah, I was just going to say that this is kind of the worst matchup to see that card in its quantity, because you already have 2 in the deck, and you only have 2 of the Cabal Acolytes, so at that point you really don't need more than you've already got, but no, that's where Duwin is.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like it's totally useless. Wave of Apathy is still a very strong card, and if Duwin does pick up maybe a Cabal Acolyte, comboed with that, he could steal any minion that Clarity puts out. And of course, Soul Demon Hunter still does run a good amount of minions, so I can see it coming in handy. Just 3 of them at the same time is not exactly what you're looking for.
Duwin will use that Shadow Word Death to get rid of the Adept. A little bit of heal should keep him going a little longer, but Clarity's got that second action. I just see that this turn.
Yeah, could just go for that. He may want to just go for the clear on this 3/5 and use his weapon, and this will also free up the Consume Magic to be outcasted and draw a card. And I think Clarity really is looking for more cards. His hand isn't super strong right now. He's probably really looking for really just for Skull at this point. I think he just really just needs some more value, needs some more damage. And Kobold Sticky Finger coming into the hand. Like I mentioned earlier, I think Marrow Slicer is definitely the best pickup. But getting one hit of this Warblades is not bad. It'll heal Duwin for a little bit, and of course take out some potential damage. So definitely seems worth it.
Yeah, I think it's fine since you've already seen the one Marrow Slicer get played, so you're already down 1 weapon anyway. You know there's 4 in the deck. because that's just every Soul DH runs for 2 copies of each weapon there. So I think taking that is totally fine.
Yep, seems fine. Get a 4/4 on the board. Being able to give it Reborn also very relevant, because I think that is going to force Clarity to run. I was going to say run the 3/3/3s into it to clear it, but it looks like he's just going to hold.
I like that, because I mean, at most the 4/4 can only take out 1, barring anything that's in hand for Duwin. So
It can. I would have been a little bit worried about Apotheosis, but it's possible that is an overreaction, because these 3/3s are valuable, especially against a priest. Often their AoE is for 2 damage, so yeah, just keeping these on the board, and we see Duwin does not have a great clear way to deal with all of these minions.
Yeah, playing around Apotheosis is a tough thing. Any class wants to keep the priest board clear to avoid those big heal turns, but sometimes you just have to go for it and say, I don't care if you've got it, I'll handle it anyway. And Duwin doesn't have it, so Clarity kind of gets paid off. And guess what? He's going to steal a 3/3.
Yep, stealing one of these using one of his Wave of Apathies, getting value out of it, and yeah, now puts Clarity kind of on the back foot here. Although I think it's nice to have this consume magic. He can either get through the taunt or at least just deny this Reborn on the Sticky Finger.
I think we're probably going to see the denial and then maybe a Blade Dance.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine here. Just do this first, see what you draw.
Pickup. Especially with the Warblade pickup.
I was thinking,
and
Warblade Hero. Wow. Okay, I was gonna say Warblade Hero Power Blade Dance was looking pretty nice. Twin Slice looking pretty good here. And yeah, Clarity could Twin Slice, Second Slice Blade Dance if he wants to. Full clear the board, not take any damage on his minions.
Yeah, I was thinking before he might just Warblade's Hero Power and then Blade Dance instead. Because then even though you run one of the 1/3s into the 2/4 or your weapon if you'd rather do it that way, he's going to use the weapon on it. Keeps
wait, he just missed 2 damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean if you plink the 1/3 and the 2/4, one of the 1/3s lives, and then you use the weapon instead. It's not, it's a little bit more damage to face.
It is, yeah, and valuing. I think I would have valued the damage to face, but still, I mean, at least he keeps these 3/3s healthy here. So we'll see what ooh, the Soul Mirror. That is a huge pickup from Duwin here. Going to be almost a full clear of the board, leading his opponent with just a 1/2. Pretty big swing.
Yeah, I like that pickup there. I mean, he could have also tossed out a Wave of Apathy if he had needed to, instead of picking up the Soul Mirror, just to kind of keep the damage output from Clarity at a minimum. Panthara keeps churning.
Yeah. The Wave of Apathy Soul Mirror combo is a really strong one that can often be used, but I think, just playing the Soul Mirror out that turn is fine.
Yeah, once he picked up the Soul Mirror, that's fine. I was just thinking maybe the Wave of Apathy before he had the Soul Mirror, just to keep himself going, but yeah, I agree, you don't play the Wave of Apathy there before the Soul Mirror. And hey, he's got another Wave of Apathy in hand.
The Wave of Apathy!
That is 1,
oh my god.
2, 3 in hand, and he's played a 4th.
Oh man, and okay, picking up Cabal Shadow Priest, that has some synergy with the wave at least, but right now, just facing minions with 1 or 2 attack on board, you don't really feel super incentivized to play it.
Another Twin Slice pickup.
This is a lot of damage. This is a lot. How much? I'm trying to... is this ever lethal over 2 turns through like the 2 heal that Duwin to get? I'm trying to count. Be 10. If you were,
yeah, it's 19 damage in hand if you count both swings of the Warblades, and that's before hero powering.
Impatient.
Yeah, so if he hero powers both times, so if in that case, it's just a matter of knowing to play the Warblades this turn and make sure you get your hero power in.
And he does not play the Warblades.
He already did not do that. Okay, interesting. I don't really know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, because now you don't have enough mana. I mean, you floated 4 this turn, and you don't have 11 mana as a possibility. So you're gonna come up short on everything. I get you might want to try to disguise some of what you're holding, but in this case, it's not going to work out. Also, that 6/4 is about to get stolen.
Dance, puppet.
By one of them anyway.
I mean, I guess. Guess no matter what, the taunt was gonna come through. And I was going to say that it's pretty difficult to get through, but this Marrow Slicer is a very nice pickup now. Of course, again, still missing out on a little bit of the damage because of not playing the Warblades next turn, but a lot could come in next turn. I think it is... Is it
He's got exactly
12
16.
4? Is it 18?
Yeah, he's got 16 in hand right now, so it's got the 4 plus 1 for the Hero Powers 5, Lapidary makes it 10, 12, 14, 16 from the Twin Slice and Second Slice.
Oh, no, yeah.
So if Duwin does not heal and does not taunt, then Clarity has enough here. And that's barring anything else that he picks up. If he picks up, well, he's already played 2 Chaos Strikes. This basically second Twin Slice he would have to pick up because the one Twin Slice he's played was off of
He can...
Wandmaker.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can definitely still get a Twin Slice, and I believe pull it out here. Duwin, thinking about just going for the Murazon, I don't hate this at all. It almost always sets up a lethal this way, and of course you still get the 2 heal in. So it makes a lot of sense to just go for this. And now Clarity just needs, I think it's other Twin Slice, or maybe... is there a Blade Dance play that could help prevent him lethal if he picks that up?
It could prevent it, but he picks up Horde Pillager, and that is not enough. So now I think what he has to do here is he has to Warblades. And that's the thing, that not playing those Warblades 2 turns ago means he didn't heal.
Yeah, no, not getting the heal and not getting that 2 damage in from the Warblades. It seems like it did
earlier
make
in the
difference
game.
Here.
Yeah, earlier in the game, if he had done the 2 damage instead, yeah, that's oof. That's tough.
I mean, I'm trying to count this again, see if there's any way, but I think no matter what, Clarity is 2 off lethal.
He is.
If he goes for a Warblades play, I don't even know if he can heal enough to get out of range of what's on board. Because Duwin... No.
Yeah, Duwin plus the Marrow Slicer is representing 8, 13, 14, 24 right now, and there's just not enough healing to get him there. So this is game 2 going to go to Duwin.
Wow. Yeah, and without drawing, or no, he did draw 1 Sticky Finger, so that tech did come in handy. Yeah, super close match here, or super close game, rather. But Duwin will even the series at 1-1.
And fall. Thank you. Should have been the enter. Should have been exclamation witchy lackey. Yes, I love to be reminded of the witchy lackeys.
And it's a good reminder. I'm gonna enter the giveaway myself. Not rigged, by the way.
Not rigged.
As we get into the game 3, so. You know, Clarity, we might see him stay on the Demon Hunter here, but Duwin already getting the win with the Priest will get to switch it up, and he is going to go with the Warrior.
This ends now.
And we saw a cutting class get thrown back, which makes me think that this is Bomb Warrior.
Well, we see it come right back. Yeah, that would make sense. The
yeah.
board also seems to indicate that it is the no-skipper version of Bomb Warrior, which is not a bad matchup for the Warrior here.
It's not bad. The Shadow Reaver is an interesting tech, but assuming this is Bomb, Soul Demon Hunter is the slight favorite. But I mean, this is a match that's very close. It often involves both players just equipping weapons, getting really high attack, hitting each other in the face, and can often come down to something like bomb draws. And we see the Ranged Caliber come into hand. Having both cutting classes and an upgrade in hand already is exactly what you want to see as the Warrior. So Duwin definitely looks primed to be in a good spot and potentially take this game.
Job's done.
Clarity will get the first blood here with the Marrow Slicer and the Spirit Jailer. But yeah, Duwin is just biding his time right now.
The acidic swamp ooze coming into hand. Wow, Duwin really did pull out all the stops, even if his bomb warrior. He's running weapon tech and
yeah, the Frozen Shadow Weaver is another one too, because you know you can freeze the face and slow down the onslaught a little bit. So yeah, this is really really well done. Duwin targeting the Demon Hunter, and it's worked. It worked in one game so far.
It worked for his priest. It makes me wonder what he's running for his mage to target Demon Hunter. Seems like a class that traditionally, or at least in this meta, would struggle to counter Demon Hunter. But I mean, after seeing these decks, nothing's off the table for Duwin, I think. So it'll be interesting to see if we do end up seeing the mage in this match. I hope we do. Clarity, though, you know, with that Marrow Slicer down, it's a little bit more difficult to get this Adept out of the way, which I think he really wanted to do, to potentially play the Adept on 5 and then get that Outcasted Skull on 6, but I think he's just going to have to delay all of that one turn, playing the Lapidary this turn, and then probably looking to go Hero Power Adept turn 6 into a turn 7 Skull.
Drawing all the cards, and there's the second Corsair cache.
Is it cold in the shadows?
Bomb number 2
Yep,
now enters
and
the
Shadow Reaver. Yeah, and we'll have to keep track of these bombs, because that often could be what this match comes down to. We see Clarity looks like he's going for the plan that we talked about, going for the Hero Power Adept, and then I would imagine the turn 7 Skull.
Yeah, I mean the bombs are another thing that can eat those skull discounts too, like the soul fragments. So that's another potential issue. We're gonna see Krastenov come down right now for Duwin and make this a 5/3 weapon, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, and no, the soul fragments, like you brought up, that's very important. Any turn that Clarity has a chance to draw a bomb, he could draw a soul fragment, or he could draw a soul fragment, immediately draw into a bomb, draw a bomb, immediately draw into a soul fragment. So often that healing and damage can sort of cancel each other out.
And he does pick up the second skull. Play that one instead, since the other skull's on the end.
Nice, yes.
Soul fragment immediately eats a discount.
Not what you want to see. I mean, getting the heal is fine, but missing out on that discount is not great.
Or the second
miss out on 2 discounts, only discounting Consume Magic, which is really not much of a factor in this matchup at all. So, unfortunate draws for Clarity.
Duwin goes and pumps his armor with the shield block, and he will have a nice little bit of a boost in health, feel a little bit safer. I mean, 24 can still be enough, you know, or can still be not enough for the Demon Hunter to kill you in one turn, but it is a lot harder for Clarity without discounts.
Definitely. Yeah, and especially for a deck like Bomb Warrior that does not really develop a ton of minions, it can often be pretty easy for the Soul Demon Hunter to set up, you know, with Skull, with some of its other tools, set up these huge, powerful turns where they're hitting their opponent for double digits. But it doesn't really seem like that's coming to pass here for Clarity, not getting great discounts on his Skull. Here, I think he might be thinking, does he want to even develop this Marrow Slicer and risk it getting sticky fingered, potentially, because he's seen that card in the pre-stack already.
I think, so interestingly enough there, the Shard Shatter Mystic didn't get played until after the Panthara. Would have been better to play the Mystic first to keep both minions on board. However, you know, that's not necessarily a guarantee that those minions would have got to face, but you know, Clarity we've seen a couple times has so far just missed a little bit of damage here and there. That could be the difference.
I think it definitely could have been Sociologist, Militia getting picked up, and because of the Mystic getting played last turn, only going to get 2 3/3s on the board. But I mean, at least you're clearing the board. You're getting some minions here. And Duwin's running a little bit low on cards. He does have a shield block in hand, but the rest of his hand is not doing a ton at the moment.
Shield Slam will mop up that Sociologist Militia.
Yep.
The weapon will take care of the soul.
Makes sense. Probably want to play the shield block too. I'm not sure why Duwin would save it.
I guess the only thing I would say is maybe you're saving it for a guaranteed use of the Shield Slam, but you don't have Shield Slam in hand yet. Well, now he's getting coerced, so that is fine. And there's the bomb. Clarity's down to 10 now with 4 bombs in deck.
The bomb, but it gets a soul fragment draw immediately, so not horrible. But yeah, I mean, at this point, Clarity, he's got so many cards in hand. I don't really know if he wants to skull here. Maybe he just goes for... Okay, no, never mind. He's going to go for the skull anyways.
Poor warlock.
See what he gets here.
It pays off because he
One
does not
soul
take
fragment
damage.
picked up. Okay! 0 bombs drawn. 4 bombs in the deck left for Clarity, but none picked up. And so he could have gone for Horde Pillager instead, right? And gotten the Marrow Slicer guaranteed.
He could have, yeah. I think that would have been...
Yeah.
That would have been what I did there. And he also probably should have played the Mystic before playing the Marrow Slicer, if he was going to play the Marrow Slicer, because then he just burned one of the Soul Fragments out of the deck. So that's just one less fragment to use for the Lapidary and one less fragment to heal with.
Yeah, I don't know if he needed to play the Mystic, but regardless, Duwin picking up the Blastmaster Boom, I mean, this is just lethal a lot of the time with Blade Storm. We'll see exactly how these Boombot rolls go.
I have a feeling it's going to be enough. 3 damage, 7 damage, and then there it is.
Yeah. And that is going to be enough. Duwin is going to take the game too. So well navigated. I think the that ooze early on hitting the Marrow Slicer just did so much for Duwin this game, really showing the power of weapon tech. That and the Frozen Shadow Weavers, very powerful. So I think Duwin predicted the Soul Demon Hunter, brought the text to beat it, and now I'm just wondering what he has with his Mage to beat this Soul Demon Hunter, because traditionally the Cyclone Mage matchup is unfavored against the Soul DH.
Yeah, I don't know if this is necessarily a matchup that you're probably going to tech too hard with. You're probably just going to run your normal cards and say, all right, I'm going to generate a bunch of stuff, and that's going to hopefully get me there. And Duwin, we see pretty basic cards so far. He does start with the Mana Cyclone in hand and picks up the Astromancer Solarian as well. I will note, we did end game 3 there. I haven't done the drawing yet because we are on 10-minute delay, of course. So I'm going to wait till the chat actually sees the end of game 3 before we do the drawing. So the drawing is going to happen at some point here in the middle of this game, most likely randomly.
Ooh, that's exciting.
But it'll be so you'll find out. It'll just be a little bit later than normal.
So I think interesting decision, or deck decision already, we can see by Duwin, is the Mirror Image. Not a card that you usually see in Cyclone Mage, but I think one that's very strong against Soul DH. It doesn't feel great to Blade Dance just to get rid of 0/2s, so without Mystic, this is going to protect you from damage, from these, really powerful turns where the Soul Demon Hunter has a weapon up, they play Twin Slice, they play Chaos Strike, they play Lapidary, they get a bunch of face damage. So I think the Mirror Image here definitely made with the Soul Demon Hunter matchup in mind. And Duwin also already having the Sorcerer's Apprentice plus the Mana Cyclone combo, and I think he's holding that Primordial Studies to probably go off next turn. He has the mana to play Sorcerers and Cyclone, and get the coin in also. So this is looking to be a very powerful turn for Duwin.
Yeah,
now.
that's, I think, exactly what he's going to do here. And we'll see what he gets out of the Primordial Studies. While he's deciding, we do have a quick update for you all. The series is now tied 5-5.
Wow.
So we had a 3-1 win for Base Inc. over Honest Zabe. Base finishes her season at 9-2. Zabe finishes at 5-6. So a 3-1 decision is the exact opposite of what we saw on Wednesday night with your Mumcat over 2-star Mako. And now this is a very, very big match here, as the winner of this will take the lead and put themselves effectively in the match point.
That's crazy, yeah. So, but, with that win, no matter what happens in this match, DadLegend will not be walking away tonight with the victory. You mentioned that was a possibility, but with base win, even if Clarity is able to win this match, that's not going to finalize the series. However, based on the state of this game, Duwin having a very strong Cyclone turn here, Clarity is looking to be in a pretty rough spot.
And looking to get something out of hand, and he does! He picks up the
Wow. Getting the missiles in, why not? Why not? It's not going to get much better than 3 damage to face. And Clarity now, he can clear with Soul Shear plus Mystic. It doesn't feel great, but I mean, that's what he has to do. But now he's facing down Duwin with a board full of randomly generated spells.
And picks up that Solarian Prime, too, so
The
that's going to be
Prime.
playable at some point in the future. For right now, just kind of breezing through what we picked up here as Duwin. You got Combustion, you got Netherwind Portal, Power of Creation, Mirror Entity, and Spellbender. And then Ancient Mysteries, I believe, is a card that he's running in his deck.
I wonder.
A lot of options here, a lot of secrets. Yeah, generated here. Looks like he's going for the Mirror Entity. I could have also seen Counterspell going into the Skull of Gul'dan turn, but Mirror Entity seems fine as well. And of course, playing any secret is probably going to dissuade Clarity from playing Skull at all.
Agreed. I was a little confused on what was generated because it happened so quick, and also my tracker just couldn't handle it. It just was like, this is too many spells to tell you what has been generated.
Just too much. It was a lot in one turn, but Clarity here, having tested the secret by attacking face, knows that it's not Ice Barrier or Flame Ward, and is now going to determine what he can do. I think the Warblades make sense, just Warblade's hero power here. It doesn't feel great, but you don't proc any more secrets, and you do get some face damage in, and that is the avenue that Clarity does have to win the game. The weakness of the mage is that, without Ice Barrier, they don't really have any healing. Without Mirror Image, they don't really have any way to taunt. So if you can just get some weapons up, just start hitting them in the face, you might find a way to close out the game.
Second secret now is Duwin kind of trickles out those secrets to now force Clarity to re-guess at what that new one is. He knows that it wasn't Ice Barrier, but this one could be. It could also be a counter spell.
Yeah, and still has I guess, with that Soul Fragment draw last turn, Clarity does not have any Soul Fragments in deck, so he can't even play Soul Shard Lapidary here.
Demons?
Is there any credence to just playing Kane?
I don't hate it. Like I said earlier, I think, you have seen the one Mirror Image. I wouldn't be surprised if Duwin's running another one, but taunts are pretty rare in the mage deck, so I mean, maybe just getting a 3-4 down is good, but Clarity, instead going for the Marrow Slicer, I actually don't hate this. You get Soul Fragments in your deck, you avoid playing into a Mirror Entity, and now, having developed that weapon, you can Lapidary next turn and just hit your opponent for 9.
And Duwin has turned into the Secret Mage Christmas tree over there. He's got 4 secrets, none of which are Ice Barrier, however. He's got that Netherwind Portal. The counter spell is about to get plinked here, and then the Spellbender is still active, too.
I would feel like at this point, Clarity's got to think, all right, one of them is barrier, but not at all. And actually, these aren't super impactful. He's even going to get to play the Pantera here to proc Mirror Entity, much better than playing the 5/5 now. And he can even full clear the board with Blade Dance if he wants to.
He's going to hold back.
Although I think... Yeah, I think maybe I would have liked to see the Soul Shear just on the 2/3. I do think holding it is correct, though.
Well, we're going to see what's in the box here as Solarian Prime starts with Blizzard.
Blizzard,
Deep freeze,
clearing the board. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, that's a great
Oh!
And there's some taunts.
That is huge.
And another counter spell. Oh my! And well, Spellbender's not helpful because there's already Spellbender up. But that was a really good Prime.
What a Prime. I mean, does it get any better than that? You freeze your opponent's face. I mean, Deep Freeze, I think, is probably the #1 spell out of every mage spell that you are looking for.
I agree.
When you're playing Soul Demon Hunter, you get to freeze their board for a turn, and then getting the water elementals up. It's so hard for your opponent to clear it. They really they need to have Blade Dance, and they need to get some good rules to get rid of that. If not, you're freezing their face for the rest of the game. There really just isn't anything that the Demon Hunter can do to cope with that.
Blade Dance doesn't really kill a whole lot, and Netherwind Portal pops something back on board anyway.
Yeah, the Cane, though, Clarity will be able to get the Cane. He can go face if he wants to. But with these water elementals sticking, I'm not sure how he gets back into the game. He needs to find a way to deal with these. They'll freeze him next turn for sure, but he needs to... I mean, he can pick up another Blade Dance, maybe, to deal with them.
Yeah, that or the second Shard Shatter Mystic plus... I don't really know. Pyroblast off of the Stewardess Scrolls, and that really kind of, without knowing, puts Clarity on a 2-turn clock here. Soul Fragment.
Yeah, the Pyroblast is huge.
Twin Slice is
all
no
these minions.
help.
This is so close to being lethal. If Duwin hadn't gotten the Deep Freeze or the Mirror Image, maybe that Twin Slice would be enough. But at this point, it's too little, too late for Clarity here. He doesn't have any way to get through this.
And Game 3 has just ended on stream, so I will pull the winner here. And congratulations to Catharsis.
Congratulations, Catharsis. Nice.
So we'll get at you for the packs that you have won for the new expansion. And speaking of winning, Duwin with the Pyroblast to the face ends up doing the job.
Wow. Yeah, huge for Duwin, losing that game 1 in such a tight match and then just coming all the way back, getting those 3 wins in a row.
Yes.
I think had a little bit of help from the randomly generated spells, but overall, I think really well navigated. And I think we knew what his game plan was.
Yeah,
the second
definitely.
we saw that sticky finger in the priest, he was trying to beat that demon hunter, and he beat it 3 times. That's what you want from your lineup.
Yeah, and as we said, the mage isn't necessarily a great matchup for that for Duwin against the demon hunter, I should say. But what it comes down to is that the mage is just so powerful and can swing the game with all the random effects, even with the nerfs. We didn't even see evocation in that game. We didn't see it get generated. We didn't see it get drawn.
No.
But that 9-spell or 8-spell Cyclone turn was just so powerful, and then the Pyroblast at the end to close it out. So well played by Duwin and well played by HSA to now go from being down 4-1 at the beginning of the night to being in the lead 9-6. So very, very good turnaround for them. Let's see if we can get Duwin in here for a quick interview. Let's see if we can find him on my friends list.
Yeah, and definitely, and also the Solarian Prime, pretty sure Duwin, if I'm remembering correctly, was able to play that at 8 mana.
He was.
So not quite the 7 mana pre-nerf that we're used to, but being able to save the buff from discovering a spell damaged minion and then still get that in, I think helped a little bit. So it was good to see that, and yeah.
Haven't heard back from Duwin yet, but yeah, this is pretty. I'm just... Sorry, Chewbacca asking if that was a spoiler. That was not a spoiler, because we said post game.
Yeah,
regardless. I didn't want to say post any game further than that, because you never know if the series is going to go more than 3 games, since that's the minimum that you would play. It somewhat coincidentally was also the end of the series, so I get where he's coming from. Timing wise, it was not ideal.
Technically correct. Technically, he was correct, but in a much more real sense, he was incorrect. So.
All right, messaging Duwin. He didn't see my message, I guess, in client, but he's seen in Discord, so that's all right.
Okay.
Hello? Testing.
Hey, Duwin, can you hear us?
Hey. How's it going?
How's it going, guys?
Good. Congrats on your win there. Big win for HSA. I don't know if you're familiar or if you're aware of the other result that happened while you were playing.
Based, I think, 1-3-1.
She sure did. So I didn't know if we were going to ruin that for you, but that made your match all the more important. As now HSA takes a 9-6 lead, so that's pretty awesome for you guys.
Yeah, so I saw a Discord notification pop up, and Booze was like, "Let's go!" And then Base said 3-1, so I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, a little bit less pressure for you too. There, it's very clear you had a solid strategy in mind to target the Demon Hunter. A lot of tech going into your decks there, and then the Mage just did Mage things. So, do you want to talk a little bit about like kind of your thought process on the lineup this week? I know you've had a fantastic season now. 10 wins on the season is really impressive.
Yeah, I've been liking so I was struggling with Rogue a little bit. Rogue kept going 1 and 2, so a lot of my 3 and 2s were just strictly because my Rogue would go 1 and 2, and I just needed a deck that was more consistent. So I ended up going with Paladin for the last few, and I really enjoyed that style with the pen flingers, and like it just felt like I had a lot of control over the matchups. So I like decks that I feel like I have control over the matchups. And the priest, I'm still struggling with how I want to build the priest. I actually forgot to add a card to my list today, and I noticed when I was playing, I forgot the 0 cost card that puts 2 minions in your hand and deals 3 to you.
Raised Dead. Yep.
Yeah, I forgot Raised Dead, and I was like, no. I was like, that card's actually really good. But it ended up working out. The list was teched to beat the Warrior and the Demon Hunter, like how I have it built with the sticky fingers and things. And I had it built to beat the Paladin as well, but I didn't take the loss to the Paladin, so I just couldn't get basically with that match, I just couldn't get my Cobalt Spellkins. I needed those so that I could start getting my what's it called? Is it Wave of Apathy? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you had all the Wave of Apathies in that Demon Hunter game.
in the Demon Hunter game.
Yeah, in the Demon Hunter game. That would have been amazing in the Paladin game. That's what I needed.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. We were like, he does not want these now. He wanted them before.
Yeah. Like I need those in the match before, but I never drew my Spellkin, and it just didn't come together for me in that match.
Yeah, that was quite the game, though. I mean, you hung in there as long as you possibly could. And, it just came down to a few unlucky draws. But overall, it does feel like you played pretty tight. I didn't see a whole lot of errors ordering. Everything looked pretty good. So your strategy worked. You've got a good win here. I guess what is there any other prep that's going into these future matches here for your two remaining teammates? Like, I know you don't want to give anything away, but like,
We talk a lot. We talk a lot in Discord. Like I showed all my lists to everyone and was like, this is my idea. Like, because I haven't teched my lists for my opponents really yet. I played more like just your basic lists. But this week I was like, I went on an 0-3 last week. That was my first loss, and I don't like going in. I don't want to take a second loss into an 0-3. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try hard and like bring it. Like let me really think about these lists and make them like for the matches, I'm gonna be going up against, and what should I ban, guys? And we all strategized in Discord, and I showed them all my lists, and they liked all the tech I was bringing, and it worked out. So, and Clarity played extremely well. I noticed a huge difference between his play from the first time we played to this time. I thought he played really well, really tight, little didn't make many errors, and it was cool to see a player from like I played like in the first couple weeks to like the last week. Like grow so much, and I felt I grew a lot this season too. So it was a really nice match.
I would say you definitely grew as a 10-win player. Your PR certainly grew, that's for sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that's awesome to hear. And I think like something like a trope that often gets talked about in sports is like a team that's a team or a player that's undefeated, that they need to actually get a loss to like know what it feels like to lose, to actually like make it through a full season and then like end up winning a championship. So I think it was cool to hear you talk about, because you've been undefeated up until last week. You finally got that loss, and then it seems like that motivated you to be all right, like I'm gonna tech my decks, I gotta put more effort into prepping this week to make sure that doesn't happen again. And it worked out.
I learned way more from like a loss. Like if I ever take a loss in one of the tournaments, I try to really think about what happened wrong, what happened wrong, and then try to build on that. So every loss I learn a lot from. So it was definitely nice last week, and I made a great friend with Starlax last week, and I thought that was a great match, even though I went 0-3. So.
Yeah, Starlax is a great player and a great person, so certainly glad to hear that you were able to learn something from the loss. I mean, if it gets your team the win in the finals, then it's all worth it. And it's much better to lose then and get your team to advance than to lose in the finals. So definitely cool for you there. And speaking of tournaments, are you playing in the tournament tomorrow?
Yes, so I'll be playing tomorrow night. So if you guys want to get that in the stream, just let me know. So.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be streaming all day, so the cast team of Brushy Tuna and Ron Mexico will be just carrying all the games. So we'll make sure if you want to be on stream, get them on your friends list because they're running the show.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool, man. Well, do anything else you want to say before we head off for the evening?
You can catch me at Duwin HS on Twitter. I do stream. I'm actually going to stream some pack openings tonight on Duwin twitch.tv/DuwinHS. But I have a lot of fun. I'm a wild main. I'm a wild hunter expert with 14,000 ranked hunter wins. But I don't like hunter and standard though. I don't like aggro decks.
We'll definitely have everyone check you out too. It's funny, and no one ever really shouts out their own channels, but everyone should shout out their channels. I mean, you just won, and if people want to see more of you winning, then you should be shouting out your channels when you come in here for the interview. I like it.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and thanks for joining up in THL too. I know this was your first season here. How did you like it?
I've been loving it. I'm loving it. So I appreciate you guys putting it on.
Yeah, definitely, and always more stuff to do here. So hopefully we see you back next season, no matter what happens here.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Markshire, anything else you want to say here as we wrap things up?
Not much. Just that good games tonight. Excited to see how this wraps up, and I guess next two matches are going to be tomorrow. So we will have crowned a winner tomorrow. So looks like HSA in the lead here, but DadLegend still a very strong team, and I think they still have a shot to get it also. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt. DadLegend can never count them out until the points say you have to. Ghost versus Yellow Dart is happening. That's one match still to go. And Boozosaurus versus Myanodon. So I can see those going pretty much either way. you could make an argument for any one of those players being favored here. PR, in my eyes, does not matter at all in regards to those matchups. Those are just 4 good players playing each other. So definitely excited to see where that goes tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow night. That's going to be on stream starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. There will be another giveaway. So last chance to win for THL Anniversary Week. Make sure to tune in for that. And then we will see who is the Legacy Champion. That being said, we still do have a couple series running beyond this. Pro and Wild are just entering playoffs now. So we will still have match streams going next week, even though Legacy will be ending. So make sure to keep tuning in here. Other than that, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for joining us. And as always, good luck to those still playing. And we will see you next time. Markshire, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.